Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today's video I'm going to teach you all about chipping and some of the common faults that I see whilst delivering golf lessons here in Dubai at the Golf Academy. Eddie, I'm sorry mate, if you're watching, this video is very much inspired by our lesson this morning. So I know Eddie watches, so I apologise. But what I'm going to do, I think it's great for every golfer to be able to learn from other amateurs' mistakes. Eddie is a good player, he's an 8 handicapper. Today we got him going back to basics, we got him looking, we got back onto grip, we got onto posture, distance from the ball, started talking about swing path and also how to start to work the hands during the golf swing as well. So one of Eddie's common first faults was that as a left-handed golfer, his left hand was too strong and under the club for my liking. So I tried to weaken that up so it kind of matches what he does with his right hand at setup. And then from there we spoke about swing path. So we took it a little bit on the inside and then dropped it even further on the inside. So his poor shot was to catch it heavy, and whilst catching it heavy, you could also catch it thin, and then obviously the nice shot there in between. And he summed it up perfectly. In the semi-rough, he's quite comfortable because the ball sits up so he can get underneath the ball. So it was all about trying to neutralise the path, trying to neutralise the club face as well. We then started to work on the club face understanding and also the swing path. So like I said, he got a little bit inside, got the club face toed up ever so slightly to try to give him the feeling that the club face just stays more down pointing at the ball, which if you look at the leading edge there is pretty much parallel to my spine angle. So that's what I would generally say is a neutral position on the takeaway. And then just give him the feet, just give him some feels really. Try and get the club feeling like it's closed in his perspective and out to in. So obviously from his perspective as a left-handed golfer, he thought everything was going to miss to the right-hand side. And I said, you know what, if it does at the start, great. This is all about getting to the understanding of strike, about the feel of strike. So a lot of golfers that I do see tend to open the face up. So this left hand for right-handed golfers, the top hand, lead hand, whichever way you want to look at it, becomes more dominant. So it actually opens the face, whereas the trail hand for a right-handed golfer, the right hand doesn't basically counteract it. So if the left hand turns to the right and opens it, the right hand needs to turn to the left to counteract it. So it's basically making sure we're doing the equal movement in opposite direction. So the left hand goes right, the right hand goes left. And if they do that equally, what you'll see, you've seen this in previous videos, is the face stays very stable. So we're working the face very stable and much more on plane. So again, for Eddie, he felt like the club face was now closed and outside and he'd pull it. So what we're actually really doing is neutralizing the face and squaring up the path. And then from there, he's still being able to get lots of loft on the face. He uses his body very, very well. But also as well in terms of what he was trying to do was actually drag the club. So he'd get the club a little bit on the inside and then try and hold the angle, hold the loft. And in doing so, the butt of the club would just work across the body. When really we want to see this sort of motion with the shaft of the club. So as the shaft of the club's coming back down, we want to make sure we get this back into a neutral position. So once we've got the face under control, we've got the path under control, as the body starts to rotate, we want to try and make sure that the shaft angle comes back here. We don't want to be trying to hold on to the angle through the ball because then we start to dig as well. So it's just being aware of the actual movements and then putting them back into practice. Once I see a lot of golfers try and hold the angle too much, we tend to see the shaft look like this. When really, as we release the club, we want to see the shaft of the club putting back at the stomach. So as your body's rotating, the stomach's always following the butt of the club. Okay, so we've got a nice smooth angle, we've got a straight club face relative to target, we've got the path working nice and straight, and as a result we've got the club head, the lie angle of the club head working a little bit more upright so we can get some nice strikes like, oh, that was really nice. So we get some nice strikes like that. So the quality of setup is massively important to be able to understand the positioning of the face during the swing. I think if you've got the right grip, or a very good grip where your hands can work, even if both hands are weak, sorry, if the left hand's strong and the right hand's weak, they can work against each other. We want them working opposite each other to stabilize the face. Once the face has been stabilized, we're able to then control the swing path. If we can control the swing path and work the body, then we're generally going to get a decent result. Obviously, this is not completely foolproof. We can make some very silly mistakes during the swing, but we've got the basics. We've got a decent posture, we've got a good grip, we've got the club face there working parallel to the spine angle, we've got the shaft of the club also at waist height pointing down the target line. So from this point now, as long as we release that club back down into the ball whilst rotating the body, we're going to be able to get a really good connection on the ball and get some nice striking. Then you can start to learn distance control once you've got the familiarity and the confidence to get that ball striking consistent as well. So great lesson this morning with Eddie, hope he agrees, because we were able to kind of pinpoint what started off as a poor grip, which then led into a poor face angle. Generally what you'll see, and this is a really interesting one, I spoke about with another client this morning, look at the face. If I've got my face neutral there, okay? If I now open my face, look where the shaft goes. If I go back to neutral and then close the face, look where the shaft goes. The grip is massively important, and then it's even more important that we get the face relatively neutral so we can then control the angle of the shaft. Because don't forget, it's the angle of the shaft which is going to control the swing path. So massively important to get the basics pretty good, get the understanding of the hands working equal opposite, so equally but opposite each other to keep the face controlled, and then able to get the face square and control path and face even on these short shots, because very easy to knock it into one of these bunkers, chunk it in front of us, thin it over the back. We're here in 2 on a par 5 or here in 3 on a par 5. Got the opportunity of making a par or bogey or a comfortable bogey or something like that, but it's very easy to mess this up as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video from, yes, it's a cold Dubai. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the height of the day and I'm still in a jumper. This is freezing for Dubai. Guys, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again very soon.